This is Megastar Magazine TV.
Hello and welcome to Megastar Magazine TV. My name is Monique Igwe. In the news, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu commended the Nigerian Armed Forces for their resilience in the fight against insurgency and criminality, while restating his administration's resolve to address the root causes of insecurity through stronger security structures and economic reforms. The president spoke at the plenary session on peace and stability during the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development in Yokohama, Japan. He further urged African nations to embrace market-driven partnerships rather than rely on aid, while calling on Japan and other partners to back Africa's demand for reforms at the United Nations, particularly in expanding the Security Council to give the continent permanent representation. Edo Govt suspends nursery, primary graduation parties, enforce mandatory school certificate for DSS and textbook reuse. The Ministry of Education, in a decisive move to strengthen stability, consistency and quality learning across all the state, announced the new education policies to take effect from the 2025-2026 academic session. In the textbook reuse policy, the younger siblings are henceforth permitted to use approved textbooks previously purchased by their older siblings, which all approved textbooks will remain in use for a minimum of 4 years before review by the ministry. Graduation ceremonies are strictly reserved for pupils who have completed basic education, primary 1 to JSS 3 and SS 3. At these levels, only modest celebrations will be allowed and mandatory entrepreneurship skills training for JSS 3 students. The Director General of Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, Captain Chris Najomo, has directed that all phones and other electronic devices must be switched off during critical stages of flight. The NCAA DG also directed all domestic airline operators to amend their operations manuals to reflect the new directive and submit them for immediate approval. He said the use of flight mode is no longer acceptable with immediate effect following resolutions from the Emergency National Civil Aviation Security Committee (NSASC) meeting held in Abuja. The Department of State Services, DSS, has asked the Federal High Court in Abuja to deny bail to 5 men standing trial over their alleged involvement in the deadly June 5, 2022 terror attack on St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church, Owo, Ondo State. In a counter affidavit filed against the defendants' bail application, the DSS warned that the men, allegedly connected to foreign terrorist fighters linked to the Al-Shabaab group, pose a high risk of absconding if released. It further argued that the granting bail could jeopardize the safety of witnesses and compromise the ongoing trial. The Owo Massacre left about 40 worshippers dead and more than 100 others injured. On the foreign scene, London, United Kingdom, Jonathon Porritt, a 75-year-old Oxford-educated environmentalist, is among the hundreds of people that the UK has cracked down on over their support of Palestine Action. He was arrested and charged earlier this month under Section 13 of the Terrorism Act for holding up a sign at a rally decrying the government's decision to outlaw the protest group. Italian police have arrested a Ukrainian man suspected of coordinating the attack on a Nord Stream pipelines, Germany's prosecutor general said. The prosecutor general said the suspect, identified only as Sari K under German privacy laws, will be brought before a German judge after being extradited. Statement from the prosecutor's office said Sari K was part of a group of people who planted devices on the pipelines near the Danish island of Bornholm. In sport, Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah was named the Professional Footballers Association Player of the Year, with the Egyptian becoming the first player to win the award 3 times. Salah, who joined Liverpool in 2017, was the Premier League's top scorer last season with his 29 goals along with 18 assists, playing a key role in the club winning the league title. The 33-year-old had already clinched the Premier League Player of the Season award, the Golden Boot for most goals scored, and the Playmaker award for most assists, making him the first player to win all 3 awards in the same season. Nigeria's senior men's team, the Tigers, have been knocked out of the ongoing 2025 FIBA Afrobasket Championship following a 91-75 defeat to Senegal in their quarterfinal encounter at the Pavilhão Motiosos de Luanda in Angola. Both nations were meeting for the 9th time in history, with Nigeria having won 5 of the previous 8 encounters between them. The 2015 champions had won all 3 round-robin games at the tournament against Madagascar, Tunisia and Cameroon to finish top of Group B, while Senegal needed to go through a playoff against South Sudan to reach the last 8. In entertainment, Chioma Adeleke, wife of singer Davido, paid tribute to her late son Ifeanyi, who died in October 2022. Chioma shared photos of her wedding bouquet with Ifeanyi's image pinned to it. She captioned the post, "My best friend walked me into forever." Ifeanyi, the couple's first child together, passed away at 3 years old after drowning in a swimming pool at the family's Banana Island residence in Lagos. Legendary actor Fabian Adibe, best known for his role in the NTA adaptation of Chinua Achebe's classic novel Things Fall Apart, has died. His death was confirmed by the CEO of Best of Nollywood, Bon Seun Oloketuyi. The actor and television personality, who led Nigeria to its first Commonwealth Art Festival in 1965, began his acting career in 1987 in the acclaimed Nigerian TV series Things Fall Apart. That has been the news. For more information, follow our social media platforms showing on your screen. Up next is Voices from the Street.
Hi guys, my name is Queen Brown from Megastar Magazine TV. We are live here in the streets of Abuja to get the opinion of people concerning the encroachment of cows in the city of Abuja. Follow me, let's find out.
I think government should do something about that. Now, why I'm saying this is because so many persons out there are not happy. Now you see, if you look down very well, you see where these cows that moves around, they shit, they littered the floor, people's environment. Imagine when you pay a worker, that you assign that worker that this is your exact job description, what you should be doing, and every morning the worker comes out to clean the surrounding, make the place look good, and you wake up to see that the place is not looking good. You ain't gonna be happy with your staff because you're going to throw the blame to the staff. Why is this place dirty? And if that staff comes to tell you that I've done this already, and trust me, I'm not even aware that something like this is on the floor, it's because the cows out there, the owners of the cow, the people taking care of this cow, they are not doing what they should do, because I think they should have a specific place where they take these cows to rear them, and not just rear them, give them food. If you want to train a cow, you should have a specific place where you're keeping your cow, and then you go out to look for their food and give them, not taking them, moving them around.
Cows are animals, that are supposed to be in the farm. Agriculture and cows, they go together. It's like animal husbandry. Having cows in the city is not actually right. I don't know. Before now, in the past governments, they encouraged cows because they said open grazing and all of that. But seriously, in any developed society, cows are not supposed to be roaming around, the city center. Even all these guys, what do they call them? Kole, all those, guys, they're not supposed to be roaming around city center. It's really discouraged. I also want to, request the government of the day to do something about it. People in the parliament should also do something about it. We shouldn't allow cows, in the city center and places where we are supposed to have business and activities. They're supposed to be relegated to a farm or to an open space somewhere away from the city center. So I'm not part of the people who condole animals of any kind to be in the city center, because it also doesn't just cause a nuisance, but it doesn't tell well of a developing state. So that's just my opinion. Thank you.
For me, I would say it is not good for those Fulani herdsmen to be roaming about with cattle in such a place like this. This is the federal capital. This is the FCT. So cows are not supposed to be roaming about in the environment, because it will mess up the environment and it will make the environment not to be conducive for human activities. So I just want to plead with the environmental people to work on that and make sure they provide a way, they make a way that so that those Fulani men will be able to at least find a place for them to be doing their things.
This is Megastar Magazine TV.